Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. Today is Sunday, April 10th, and this is episode 114 of my knitting podcast. So hello everyone. It's been a couple weeks since I recorded, because last weekend was YarnCon and a bunch of other really important things, and I just ran out of time and energy, and I tried to do it during the week and then it just didn't happen, and I thought, you know what, I'll just wait till Sunday. And actually, conveniently, one of the things that I was supposed to do today got canceled, so I'm gonna have time to do this, which was nice. Yeah. So let's get started. Below the conch shell, the announcements, I drew a prize, or I drew a winner for the March knit along, which was the spring cleaning of finish all your old works in progress. And the number I pulled was number 7, who is blondecatalogue. So please get in contact with me. And I've decided the prize for that will be a pattern of your choice, because you've just finished something, so now you need to cast something on, right? Yeah. So let me know what pattern you would like, and I will give that to you. The April and May knit along, which is green and yellow, are the colors for that one, is going on. And anything you knit or crochet or weave or anything related to yarn, really, spin, things like that, that has green and or yellow in it can be entered. There's a thread already started. Chatter and finished objects are welcome in the same thread. It just keeps it easier that way. The Stockinette Zombies are also doing a green knit along in April and May, so you can double dip into that if your project has a green in it, or mostly green. I don't know what their rules are, but since you may or may not be knitting something that has green, then feel free to double dip in that. So that's it for the color knit along. I'm also going to be doing a Night at the Theater shawl knit along, which is the pattern I released last weekend at YarnCon, and everyone loved it, and it was fantastic, and I'm really excited. I'll talk more about it later, but I worked in the Leading in Fiber Arts booth for Saturday while I was there. I couldn't go Sunday because I had something else, and it was really fun. It was really fun to talk about their yarns, which I love, and also just to see everyone's excitement over my pattern. That was kind of fun, people asking about it, or Steve saying, hey, the designer's right over there, and it was just really fun to be there for that. And so thank you everyone who bought that. There is a coupon code, which is KP, capital KP for Knitted Paradise, and then theater with an RE at the end, because it's like theater, not like movie theater. There's different spellings of theater for different things. Anyway, that's the spelling of it. There's a thread for the knit along in the group on Ravelry, which is Knitted Paradise Podcast is the group. If you search in the groups tab, you should be able to find it. And the coupon code is there. I will maybe also put it along the bottom of the screen here, if I remember to do that. And that will give you 25% off the pattern, and that goes to, I think, till the end of April. So you have quite a while to purchase that pattern and knit it up. I think I'm going to give a couple months for the knit along as well, because it is a large shawl. It's at least 650 yards. Some of my testers used around that, some used more than that. So it depends on your gauge and also what stitch patterns you pick. And if you're going to post on social media, you can use the hashtag Night at the Theater shawl, because Night at the Theater is some other things, and so I thought this would be very specific, and that will allow me to see your objects on social media as well, mostly on Instagram. That's really the only social media I use. Yeah, so that is the knit along that is going on. And you can double dip with that shawl into the Dramaturg featured designer knit along, which is April through June. They are doing a knit along for all of the featured designers that they have ever had, and I was one of them maybe a couple years ago. And so any of my patterns that you happen to knit in April, May, or June, you can enter into the thread there in their group as well, the Dramaturg group. But if you happen to be knitting Night at the Theater for my knit along, you can also enter their knit along. So that works out really well. The other announcement I have is that I really want to have a local knitter meetup. And I was hoping to do it in April, and then things just kind of got away. I would like to do it on the 16th, which is next Saturday. I don't know if people are available for that. I know it's really short notice. So please get in contact with me as soon as possible and let me know if that works for you. It'd probably be an afternoon kind of thing. We might like meet up at Panera or somewhere for lunch, because I know the Panera in downtown Evanston has a nice big back room that we can maybe just kind of take over. And I don't think you can reserve it. You might be able to reserve it. I'll see about that. And then there's a yarn shop like a couple blocks from there, maybe not even a couple blocks, that we could go visit. And I'll probably warn them if there's a bunch of us going to descend upon them. But other than that, they have a nice table and area, so we might be able to sit and knit there for a while. I don't know. That was just kind of my thoughts. And so let me know if you're interested in that. If the 16th works for you, I know it's next Saturday. If not, we can do one in May. Because the Saturday after the 23rd does not work for me. But we could do it sometime in May, like earlier May, because late May I've got some other commitments on Saturdays. Sundays are kind of full for me between choir and other things. But Saturdays tend to work for me. So let me know if that is an option for you, if you're interested, and that'd be awesome. Because I'd like to meet all of you in person. I think that's really fun. Okay, enough announcement. That was long announcements. Sorry about that. They've kind of been piling up for a couple weeks. Let's get to On the Island. I have, let's see what I have. We'll start with this because it's closest. Actually, we'll start with, let's start with On the Mainland, actually, from the mainland, because I picked up some things at, I'll start with some of from the mainland, because a lot of the things I'm knitting on came from the mainland. So at YarnCon, I had pre-ordered another Crafty girl for the Shard knit along that she's doing. The Shard is a pattern by Romi Hill, and Sarah just knit one a little while ago, and she had it at Knitting Pipeline Retreat, at the Knitting Pipeline Retreat, and I love it. It's so pretty. And so she said that she wanted to do a knit along for it, and the yarn has to be dyed in a certain way, and so she made a huge list of all her colorways that work with it. And so if you're interested in knitting that pattern and you have another Crafty Girl yarn, or want another Crafty Girl yarn, because honestly, who doesn't want another Crafty Girl yarn, go check out her group. And I ordered the Great Wave in her shiny sock, which is 50/50 silk and merino, which is divine, let me tell you. I could just like roll in it. It's so soft, so squishy. So I ordered a skein of that, which I picked up at YarnCon. And actually, we'll just intertwine from the mainland and On the Island. So I started the Shard this afternoon. Ta-da. That's it so far. There's a lot of stitch markers. I'm actually using all the doctors because you needed 10, and I have 11. So they're all the doctors, and then they have their number on the back. So I had 10 there, and I was using 11 in another project, so it worked out perfectly. So I have cast on that, and I have done, I think, a couple shards so far. So what happens is there's the overall pattern of knitting these wedges, and then when you come to a specific color, you do little short rows. So you get these pockets or shards of the color, which in my case is white for this particular yarn. And And I've just done a second one. I think there are only 2. Yeah, because that white's part of the cast on. And so it's made up of short rows, which is why I'm in the middle of a row. And yeah, so that is cast on. And her knit along is running till the end of April. So I have not very long to knit that. I don't think it'll be a problem. Jeez, Hedwig is being super loud. Sorry. She is in the other room, but she's a bird and, you know, there's only so much you can do about that. So that's what I got from another Crafty girl. So I knew that was coming because she said, oh, I'm not going to have it ready till YarnCon. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just pick it up there. So I did that and I got to see her, which was awesome because I love her face. Yay, Sarah! The other thing that I got was Liam Fiber Arts, of course, because I was working in their booth. They're like, hey, you can pick out some yarn. I was like, what? Okay. So I picked up a skein of Dramaturg in the Rubber Ducky colorway, which is a bright yellow. So this is a solid of the gradient I used for the second night at the theater shawl. So that is the bright yellow. And I'm pairing that with another Crafty girl. I Can Fix It in her Merino worsted, which I picked up knitting Pipeline Retreat. That's right. It wasn't that long ago. And I'm knitting the Galactic hat by Julianna Puccini of the Julianna's Fiber. And that's what I have so far. I started that today at choir. And it's getting this nice huge chunk of yellow here, which is kind of fun. And then, so I'm alternating she gives options for 2 colors, so I'm doing that. And then I might have enough to knit another one of the reverse with it. So I'm using the blue as the primary color, the I Can Fix It. So those are the slip stitches here. And then the yellow is the alternate color. So those are a very lovely pair of yarn. Let's see if I can get those back in my bag. And that I'm keeping in my Cozy Crafting blue and yellow bag because it's a blue and yellow project, so you have to keep it in the blue and yellow bag, right? Yep. The other Leading Fiber Arts that I picked up was a skein of their callback in Moonlight, which is not going to show up very well. It is a very pale bluish gray, or grayish blue. I think it's more grayish blue than bluish gray. And I saw this colorway and I was like, I need something in that. And this is what they had. So I just picked it up. I have no idea what it's going to be. It might be a cowl, like a textured cowl or a textured hat. I have no clue, but it's going to be beautiful. So that came home with me. And then the last thing I got was one of their Improg soft blanks in the buff. All of their sock blanks are one of a kind and they all have their own name. So this is what I got, and it is mint. It's not coming up nearly as bright as it is in person. It is much brighter. It's got these huge chunks of dye and the rest of it. It's a very soft mint. It's really not showing up. It's looking like there's chunks of white in here. There's really no white. It's just, it's hard for it to come up on camera. So that is probably going to be socks for me because I love mint and I have a lot of it in my wardrobe. So it worked out well for me. And the last thing I got was a skein of yarn from Dragonfly Fiber for a giveaway. So they were so generous as to donate this, and they just released a collection of patterns in a book. It's actually a book, a full-on book, of yarn and patterns based on pieces of art, famous pieces of art, and it's called Masterpiece Knits, the Modern Collection, and you should totally check it out. It is absolutely gorgeous. The yarns are amazing, and the patterns are amazing. So this is just some of the yarns over here, and then a few of the patterns there. And they had a lot of the samples They had some, because they were doing 2 shows, so they were split. The samples were split. But I picked out Earth and Green. I forget which painting this is based off of. I'll have to go look that up. But this is going to be going into the prize pool. And it is Damsel, which is 100% superwash merino, 335 yards. I think it's a sport weight. I'm comparing it to this sport weight. Be a heavy sport weight, but it is beautiful. I love that blue there. Very tonal blues, and then this like green and maroon. It's definitely a deep reddish maroon, and that pop of blue. It's stunning. Anyway, so that's going to be going into the prize pool, and you should definitely check out the Dragonfly Fibers. The ladies there were super nice, and their yarns are beautiful. So definitely check out Dragonfly Fibers, and the Masterpiece Knits book is out now. I don't know where you can purchase it. I'll have to look that up and put that in the show notes. All right, other things that are on the island, because I just cast, I was trying to wait to cast those on until I showed you the yarn, but then I couldn't wait. So I had a winding party the other night and started casting things on because of the knit-alongs that are going on, and it's still freezing cold here, and so I still want that hat, or can still wear the hat. Yeah, it snowed yesterday and the day before. It's April. I love snow. It was really pretty snow, but I'm kind of done with it being cold. I love snow, but I'm kind of done with the cold. I kind of want to wear dresses, not boots and pants. Anyway, I digress. I cast on some socks. Ta-da! And this is going to be the Suburban Prairie pattern by Susie White of Prairie Girls Knit and Spin and Prairie Girls Design. Sorry, I'm getting Danny and Susie mixed up in my head. And it's out of One Twisted Tree, which is Danny, in Sun on Your Face, which is what I'm wanting right now, because it's, at least yesterday it was sunny. Today it's gray and gross. But I have bright yellow yarn to make me happy. Yay! So I'm very excited about these. So I cast on a toe. I went to cast on the second toe, and the second needle was not in my bag. So I don't know where it went. I'm going to have to go find that. I tried looking for it earlier and couldn't find it, but I will find that somewhere. And get those going. So I just finished the toe on that. I haven't started the pattern, so they're not terribly exciting at the moment. I think, oh, my new shawl design out of Two Guys Yarn Company is being worked on, and I'm not going to show it to you yet, but I made some significant progress last week. I don't think I've touched it this week. And yeah, so that'll be coming at some point. I don't really have a deadline, so it's just kind of whatever. So I think that's it for On the Island. And that's it for, we'll do some, oh no. I got another from the mainland. So that was the YarnCon stuff. And I got a lovely thank you package from one of my prize winners, which I just thought was so sweet. So thank you so much. I didn't ask if I could say your name, but I got it. Thank you so much. And she gave me this lovely little package of teas, an assortment of teas, and this cute little bow, and a little ice cream cone stitch marker there. It's Progress Keeper. It's got a little lobster claw. And then these cute little labels that say knitted by, and you can sew them into your project and then sew your name on. That was so cute. So thank you so much. That was completely unnecessary, but very much appreciated. So I haven't untied it because I wanted to show it to you because it's so cute. But I may go try some of this tea later on. Ooh, honey lavender stress relief. I may need some of that later. So I got that in the mail. And that's it from the mainland. Let me scroll down in my show notes. Yeah, YarnCon and bags. So I got all from the mainland. They all set sail. Sorry, this is a little out of order, but it's just kind of how things are going today. We're just going with the flow, right? Yay! Okay, first thing I finished that I totally forgot to show last week, although they were done, was that I participated in a challenge by Arohaknits, and she is a designer and knitter of beautiful things. I follow her on Instagram and on Ravelry, and she put out a challenge of these 5 shawls in 5 days. And the way it worked is that every day for those 5 days, she sent out via email a little shawl prototype, little pattern, mini shawls basically. So every day you sat down for half an hour and knit a mini shawl in various shapes. So the first day was a triangular shawl. So I got my minis that I got in my package from Brigitte, and I just thought they would be perfect. And they are. The little self-patterning yarn was brilliant for these little things. Everyone loved it. So I didn't weave in any of my ends because they're just little prototypes. So this was the triangular shawl on the first day, and there was different variations you could do. I don't even think I did any sort of a border. I think I just bound off, maybe on the wrong side, because it's quite the kind of yarn I had left. I mean, that was it. And then day 2 was the crescent shaped shawl. I think it was this one. I think it went in this order. Yeah, so this was the crescent. And then was the asymmetrical triangle, which I started in stockinette because that's what the pattern called for. And then I switched to garter because this is going to be the shape of my new shawl design, and it's going to be in garter, or a lot of it's going to be in garter. So I wanted to try it out, try out some things. I tried some short rows in the beginning and then decided I didn't like those, and so the beginning's a little funky, but it's a little prototype. I mean, that's what it is. It's a swatch, basically. And I just thought that was so fun to knit like a mini shawl swatch. So I mean, it's just the beginning of a asymmetrical shawl. I mean, all of these are just the beginning of that shape, but it's just a mini version of it. So I just thought that was so cool. So it's the asymmetrical one, and then there was the half pie shawl, or this it wasn't semicircular. It's half pie. So that's what that one is. And I don't think I made any modifications on this one. I might have done the increases a little sooner than called for. Yeah. It's funny because the Night at the Theater shawl, I called it a crescent shape because it does go up like this, but the increases are done more like this, where you knit for a certain number of rounds and then do a whole bunch of increases. But I also do increase along the edge, so you do get that swoopy shape. But it is a little deeper than I think other crescent-shaped shawls. It is a little deeper like this. So it's kind of a combo between the two, which was kind of fun to discover. It was just a fun study in shawl shapes. And she just came out with a book called Shawl Shapes. I think I bought it. Anyway, but these were, all of these like prototype-y pattern things are in that book. And so if you're interested in shawl shapes and exploring different shawl shapes, you should definitely check out the book. And then the last day was a square shawl, which I had never knit, so it was fun. I don't think I've ever knit anything that was square. So I had run out of the self-patterning things, so I just picked up another ball that was on the top, which I think is, it's No Maker's House Gnome and the Baby Gnome colorway. And just purples, and I loved it. It was just on top, and it was already wound into a ball, so it was perfect. And it was fun. So that's my last one. So this is my pile of little shawls. So I just thought it was really fun. I don't know if I'll ever knit a square shawl, but then again, you can knit them and then like fold them in half and it becomes triangular and you can wear it more like a triangle. So I may one day. We'll see. But it was fun to explore that. And if you're interested in shawl shapes, you should definitely check out Arohaknits. The pattern is available, the book is available on Ravelry as well as her website. So check that out. So those were done. And then next, I finished a bunch of socks. 3 to be exact. I finished the Artichoke Socks by Megan Humphrey out of Leading Mid Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Envy colorway. And it is deep green. The screen is washing it out a lot more. But it is a deep, rich, tonal, I call it a foresty green. It almost looks like, what it looks like, I don't know if that's how they dyed it, but it looks like they did a bright green and then overdyed it in black. Actually, that color, that's more like it. It's a deep green, but it's got these like hints of bright green. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So I love these. None of these are for me, FYI. But I love that color. Next, I finished the Crazy Monkeys by Jennifer O'Sullivan, which is a toe-up, no-purl version of the Monkey Socks by Cookie A. And this is No Maker's House Gnome in the Scarlet Witch colorway. And these are the ones I was worried that they were going to be too small. And I just ripped them back to the toe and increased a couple more on the bottom of the foot. And then, so the top of the foot remained at 32 stitches and the bottom of the foot, I think, was 36. Yeah. So that's what I did. And they blocked out very nicely. So I think they'll be fine now. Thank you all for your suggestions and of how to fix these. I just ended up ripping them back. They are a surprise for this friend, so she doesn't know she's getting them. She just knows that I asked her for her shoe size. And yeah, a lot of my friends this year are getting randomly asked what their shoe size is and then getting socks in the mail. I'm like, what's your shoe size and what's your mailing address? Don't ask, just tell me. So she doesn't know she's getting these. So I couldn't, someone suggested asking her to like trace her foot. I could have done that. It would have been kind of complicated, but I had already figured out. I was like, I'm just going to rip them back, as annoying as it was. It's a very quick to knit pattern. Both of these were. And they look like Christmas colors. It's kind of funny. Not intentionally. These two do know each other, so that's going to be kind of fun to give them together. Yeah, next pair of socks. Sorry, I lost some thought there for a second. These are the Syncopation socks by Mary Henninger out of No Maker's Bungalow Gnome in Thor. And you can kind of see the pattern there. There it is. And these I knit this week, so you haven't seen them in progress. I finished them this morning. They're still a little damp from blocking, but this one pooled, funnily. It's funny, it's so much darker in person. So I didn't notice this pooling as much on this one. But yeah, this one didn't pool, and this one did. My gauge was probably different when I was knitting them. I think this one turned out taller. I think it might have been looser than this one. Just a little bit taller, not that much. And he's not going to notice. So these are for the husband of this person. So these are husband and wife socks, which I think is very fun. And yeah, so I knit 3 pairs of socks in the past 2 weeks, or finished 3 pairs of socks, which brings my count to 18 for this year. I know my goal was 36. We're at April, not even halfway through April, and I've knit half of that 36, which I think is kind of crazy. It's a lot of socks. I don't think I've knit less than 4 in a month. January, I think I knit 6. March, I knit 6. February, I think I knit 4. Does that add up to 18? I have no idea. And then I've knit a few in April. I think I've knit 3 now. I think those 3, because I finished them in the last 2 weeks. Maybe one of them I finished in March. I think the green ones I finished in March. So I finished those in March. So anyway, that's 18 pairs of socks for this year, which is great. I'm now way ahead of my 36 pairs. I'll probably knit more than 36 pairs, I'm guessing, because my list of socks that I want to knit keeps growing as I keep getting more sock yarn. But now I don't feel pressured to knit socks all the time. That was kind of the first batch of like, oh my god, I need to knit all the socks. Whereas right now I'm like, oh, I've knit quite a lot of socks. I can knit other things now. So I've got a shawl, a hat. I want to knit another shawl. So that'll be nice to knit some other things. I mean, I love socks. I still have socks in the needles. I still have my Suburban Prairie socks in the needles. So those will get knit. But there's no deadline for those because they're for me. So I can just kind of leisurely knit those. And maybe go back to the pairs that are languishing on the needles that just require some more attention. I like patterned socks. I don't really like knitting stockinette socks. But I don't have a lot of time, like concentration time to knit. I mostly take my knitting with me, as I've said multiple times. So things that require looking at charts and other things, just they don't get done as quickly. So I don't choose those as deadline knitting, obviously. Unless I have a lot of time at home to sit and look at charts, which doesn't happen very often. Okay, I think that's it for knitting stuff. Yeah, that was actually not too bad considering it's been 2 weeks. The other thing I wanted to share a little bit about was from my holiday. I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys a few interesting facts about Hawaii each week. I was born and raised there, and I don't talk about it very much, other than the podcast being Pacific themed. So I thought it'd be fun to just kind of share some random things about my hometown and Hawaii in general. So I grew up on the Big Island, which is the island of Hawaii, but we call it the Big Island. It's the biggest one of the chain. And in the state, there are 8 islands. 7 of which people live on. One of which is privately owned, so you can't really go there. And that's at the top of the chain. And then there's one that's really tiny, and the military used to use it for like bombing practice. So no one lives there. I mean, no one lived there when they were using it. And so they're kind of in the process of cleaning it up now. I don't know if anyone will ever live there. The only way you can get there is by helicopter. And no one really goes there very often. That's Kaho'olawe, if you were wondering. So it goes the Big Island, Hawaii. Then you have Maui, and Kaho'olawe is kind of right there. I should probably just get a picture and show you. That would be a lot easier. Maybe I'll put one in here. And Maui and Molokai and Lanai are really close together, and Kaho'olawe is around there. And then there's a little larger space, and then Oahu, which is where Honolulu is, which is the capital of Hawaii, the state. And then there's a little more space, and there's Kauai, and then there's Ni'ihau, which is the one that is privately owned at the top there. And so those are the ones in the state. In the whole archipelago, I mean, there's a huge train that goes all the way up, like Midway is all the way up there. There's 132 islands, which is a lot. It's a lot of islands. I mean, some way up at the top are more like atolls because they're getting away from the hot spot that is spewing lava constantly. And there is another island being formed called Loihi, which is off the coast of the Big Island. And it'll surface in like 1,000 years. It's gonna be quite a while. But that's just kind of fun that our Earth is creating new land all the time. Our island, the Big Island, actually grows and shrinks periodically based on the lava that is continuously flowing out of the volcano, Kilauea, and it's been flowing since 83, I want to say, 83 or 84. And so our island constantly grows because new land is being formed, but then sometimes it falls off. There's a reason that they don't let you go near that part of the island, and that's because one day 40 acres just fell off. It was quite a few years ago. But yeah, there's pictures, you can go look it up, of like, now you see it, now you don't. Like one day there's 40 acres and one day there's not. And it was just a shelf of lava, and it wasn't terribly stable, and it just collapsed into the ocean. Hedwig's having a fly around. So I think that's probably enough for today. That's quite a lot of random information about Hawaii, in case you're interested. I just think Hawaii's fascinating. I mean, I grew up there, but I still think it's fascinating. And not a whole lot of people know a ton about it, so I thought it'd be fun to share a little bit about it. And maybe one day I will go visit my parents, because they still live there. It's a lot to get there, because it takes a whole day basically to fly from here to there. And it's not super cheap because it's touristy. And I just haven't gotten back as much as I would like to. But I have visions of podcasting from my backyard, which has an amazing view. One day I will show it to you all. Anyway, I think that is it for today. I'm going to have some fun with the animals and knit on my shard and have some dinner and maybe some tea and go to bed early because I can. But I'm really tired. So I hope you all have a great week, and let me know if you're interested in the meetup next week, if you're available for that. If not too many people are available, we will postpone it until May, but we will make it happen soon. So keep your eyes out for that, because I definitely want to make it happen soon. All right, have a good week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.